Hello students, welcome to today's video lesson where we shall discuss the chapter Journey to the End of the Earth by Tishani Doshi. In this non-fiction account, the narrator describes her journey to the coldest, driest and windiest continent of the world, Antarctica. Antarctica is a crucial puzzle in the natural balance of the world. It is the sole continent which has never sustained a human population and thus remains rather untarred by human activities and demands. Before we find out more about this journey and the experience on the continent, let us familiarize ourselves with the writer.
Tishani Doshi was born in Madras or Chennai in the year 1975 to a Welsh mother and a Gujarati father. Her first novel, The Pleasure Seekers, was published by Bloomsbury in 2010 and was shortlisted for the Hindu Best Fiction Award in 2010. Some of her other works include Everything Begins Elsewhere, Girls Are Coming Out of the Woods, and The Adulterous Citizen, poems, stories, essays.
The narrator begins by recounting her journey to Antarctica aboard a Russian research ship named Akademik Shokalsky. She had begun her journey from Madras, 13.09 degrees north of the equator. Her journey from Madras to Antarctica involved crossing 9 time zones, 6 checkpoints, 3 water bodies, and several ecospheres.
After traveling for 100 hours in a combination of car, aeroplane, and a ship, the narrator was relieved to set foot on the white, snow-covered landscape of Antarctica. The relief was soon followed by wonder. Wonder at its immense size and the fact that India and Antarctica were once part of the same landmass. According to geological history, 650 million years ago, Gondwana, the southern supercontinent, did indeed exist. It was centered roughly around the continent of Antarctica.
The world was quite different back then. Humans had not arrived yet. The climate was warmer and there was a large variety of flora and fauna. However, after 500 years, around the time dinosaurs were becoming extinct, the Gondwana separated into different countries.
The narrator confesses that a visit to Antarctica was a chance to be a part of that history, to understand our past and also to get a clue about our future as a planet. To understand the significance of the Cordilleran folds or mountain folds, the Precambrian granite shields, ozone and carbon, evolution and extinction, witnessing and knowing Antarctica's story was crucial. Standing on the continent of Antarctica, the narrator was awed at the geophysical changes that have taken place over the centuries. India had pushed northwards, jamming against Asia and buckling its crust, leading to the formation of the Himalayas. South America drifted off to join North America, opening up the Drake Passage to create a cold circumpolar current, keeping Antarctica frigid and desolate.
The narrator was a native of the warm, sunny city of Chennai, formerly known as Madras, and it was difficult for her to survive in a place which housed the world's 90% ice. The narrator felt like she had walked into a ping pong ball devoid of any signs of human life. Antarctica was bare, devoid of any trees, billboards or buildings. One lost earthly perspective and the sense of time on Antarctica. It was visually stimulating with a wide range of things like midges and mites to blue whale and icebergs. The calm quietness of the continent forced one to place himself in the context of the Earth's geological history.
Human civilization is just 12,000 years old, barely a few seconds on the geological clock. However, in this short time, we have disturbed the natural balance by trying to claim dominance over nature with our endeavors. Overpopulation and the blanket of carbon dioxide around the world is slowly increasing the global temperatures. Will this lead to the melting of the West Antarctic ice sheet? Will the Gulf Stream ocean current be disrupted? Will it then be the end of the world? These questions do not have definite answers, but the continent of Antarctica remains a crucial element of this debate for several reasons, like how it is the only place in the world that has not been disrupted by humans and how there is the presence of 500,000-year-old carbon records in its ice layers. Antarctica is the answer to all our questions if we want to study and find out about the Earth's past, present, and future.
The narrator's trip to Antarctica was a part of the Students on Ice program headed by the Canadian Geoff Green. The program takes high school students to the ends of the earth and provides them with educational opportunities, believing that the young generation or the future generation of policymakers will learn, absorb, and act upon a fast-changing world. The program has been majorly successful, as it is impossible to go anywhere near the South Pole and not be affected and inspired by it. One cannot ignore the retreating glaciers and collapsing ice shelves when visually witnessed firsthand.
Antarctica is the perfect place to study how little changes in the environment can have big repercussions because of its simple ecosystem and lack of biodiversity. The parable of the phytoplankton forms a great metaphor for existence. Take care of the small things and the big things will fall into place. Phytoplankton are single-celled crosses of the sea that sustain the entire Southern Ocean's food chain. These plants use the sun's energy to perform photosynthesis. However, scientists state that a further depletion in the ozone layer will affect the activities of these phytoplanktons and in turn will disrupt the entire marine lives of the area.
Under the subtitle, Walk on the Ocean, the narrator recollected one of her moments of epiphany when, a little away from the Antarctic Circle at 65.55 degrees south, the 52 students were instructed to climb down the Shokalski.
Covered in their Gore-Tex and glares, the students walked on thick ice of a meter's width. Underneath that lay 180 meters of salt water and several life forms. While walking on the ice sheet with the sea below them, they were surrounded by crab-eater seals stretching themselves out in the sun. The narrator was reminded of the stray dogs under banyan trees back in her homeland. After returning back, the narrator was still wondering about the beauty of balance in nature and whether we would be around to see if Antarctica should return to its original warm state in the future. However, the narrator realized that although a lot can happen in the next million years, a day can make a lot of difference.
Thus, we see how geological phenomena help us in understanding the history of the Earth and how the continent of Antarctica, cut from the rest of the globe, is facing the repercussions of the deeds of the rest of the world. With that, we come to the end of the video lesson. We hope this helps you in your revision work. See you soon.